in this lecture we will be seeing something very important, something very important in the whole costing subject, that is cost sheet. So cost sheet being one of the most important topics that we have, or we can say cost sheets acts like the final result that you produced out of the cost accountancy. So that is why it becomes too much important for a cost accountant or an accountant who is dealing in costing must know how to prepare a cost sheet or how to prepare a well organized and detailed cost sheet. So in this lecture we will be seeing that how to prepare cost sheet. Also we can call it a detailed cost sheet. Please must make sure that you have watched all the previous lessons that in which we have talked about the basics. The basics we have talked about already, and I hope you all have got these notes. See, these are all the notes for the basics theory. Now we are starting with the cost sheet. So I will also share these notes with you guys for cost sheet, but after a little later period. Now let's start with cost sheet and I will tell you everything about cost sheet. Now let's start with cost sheet. Cost sheet. So what do we mean by cost sheet? Exactly what do we mean by cost sheet? So cost sheet is a detailed statement of showing cost breakup. So what is cost breakup? So basically we have seen that in cost accountancy we classify cost up to or into subdivisions and also subdivisions. So we break up the total cost into various parts like variable cost. We can also call it semi variable cost also, or I can say on broader level or in detail level I can say that total cost has been divided into admin cost, production cost, prime cost, and selling and distribution cost. So these are the breakups of cost that the cost accountancy provides. But if we talk about the financial accounting, so as we all have prepared financial accounting, in financial accounting we all have prepared profit and loss account. So in profit and loss account we were not able to see this classification or breakup of cost. We were writing all the items at the debit side which are related to losses or expenses, and we were only writing the income and gains on the credit side, but we were not obtaining or getting any classification or breakup of costs. So in profit and loss we were lacking at this point, but here in cost sheet we will be doing it with breakup of cost. Now and also shows cost per unit of output produced and various stages of cost, is that prime cost to cost of sales are presented systematically. So there are stages as to the cost. So basically at the first level we will calculating prime cost, then we will be moving up to total cost. So according to the production, basically production process, suppose this is a whole production process. So at different stages we will be classifying the cost amount with names like prime cost, and here we will be taking it as total cost. So we will be classifying it into various names. We will be seeing into cost sheet format in detailed analysis, right? So for now we have understood what is cost sheet. Cost sheet is just a statement, a detailed statement which shows the breakup of cost and also shows the cost per unit of output produced. And also it shows the various stages of cost like prime cost and total cost, or cost of sales, or cost of goods sold, or cost of goods available for sale, and so on. Okay, now what are the advantages that we have by preparation of cost sheet? So it discloses the total cost. It discloses the total cost and the cost per unit of the units produced during the given period. Okay, so we have got the point that in a given period of time, if we prepare a cost sheet, we will be able to know that what is our total cost. We will be able to know that what is cost per unit for us. Okay, so the first benefit derived from cost sheet is very simple and very obvious, that if we prepare cost sheet, it is written in the statement, it is written in the definition as well itself, that we will be calculating cost per unit. So it provides us with the cost per unit function. Now it enables a manufacturer to keep a close watch and control over the cost of production. So basically we will be seeing the cost, into different stages, right? So if the production cost, this whole cost will known as production cost, from prime cost to total cost. It the whole process will be known as production cost. So production cost will be having stages. See, if I focus on stages at the ground level, like prime cost, if I see that I am incurring high amount of prime cost, then I will be able to control such amount. If I see that I am having cost of goods sold, a high amount of cost of goods sold, then I will be measuring and controlling it and taking the remedial actions available, right? So it provides us the information basically, so that the manufacturer or the owner of the business can watch closely that where he is lacking about the cost. It acts as a guide to manufacturer and help him in formulating a definite useful production policy. So if you know that what is the cost, you will be finding the opportunity to decrease it in various ways. So once you understand what is cost for your business, then you will be understanding that what are the opportunities. For an example, you will be seeing that if we use material X at the place of material Y, we will be having low prime cost, then we will be having low total cost. So like this you can have a very good or useful production policy. It helps in fixing up the selling price more accurately. Once you get the total cost, you will be adding profit into this, and then you will be getting selling price. So if you know the total cost accurately, the minimum cost you have reduced the cost, then you will be adding the profit margin, then you will be getting a good and accurate selling price, right? So this was not possible by preparation of profit and loss account. It shows the classification of cost. So basically it also shows the classification of cost as per cost accounting standard number 1, as we have talked it as we have already talked about it in our previous lessons. It enables an organization to compare standard result with actual and take remedial decisions. Suppose that the enterprise or the organization has fixed that the standard usage, the standard means a yardstick or a basically a point up to where you can use the material. So standard usage of material, let's say is 1000 unit, 1000 kg. Now we have fixed a standard for everyone. Now we will see what is the actual usage done by the production department. Then we will be comparing it. Suppose it has taken 1800 kg, then we will be comparing it that we have thought about 1000 and it has taken 1800. The 800 difference will be analyzed, and the causes for such difference would also be analyzed, and we'll also see that what are the options available to us to decrease it to the 1000, and we will be taking the remedial actions. Remedial actions means the actions necessary to reduce the 1800 kg to 1000 kg, as we have thought already. Now let's move on from the advantages. I hope you all have got the advantages of cost sheet easily, because there is nothing special about cost sheet. Basically cost sheet provides us many benefits, sorry. So benefits are as follows. As we can see, there are many of the benefits. You can remember 4 or 5 for them for examination purpose. Now items not recorded into cost sheet. So basically how the cost sheet is different from profit and loss account. Here the point comes. Profit and loss account records certain items which cost sheet does not record. Cost sheet does not record. Okay, so it will be recorded into profit and loss account, but it will not be recorded into cost sheet. As we have learned in our previous lessons that cost accounting is done with the help of financial accounting data. So we will be having profit and loss account to us, then we will be preparing cost sheet with the help of financial accounts or profit and loss account. So it goes like this. We will be having profit and loss account for the company, then we will be preparing cost sheet from such information. So we will be seeing that there are only certain items that will be take away from profit and loss account, and we will be leaving some of the items in profit and loss account, and we will record only that certain amounts or that certain figures in cost sheet. So we will be seeing that what are some of the items that we do not consider while preparing cost sheet that are already presented into profit and loss account. So there is also a chapter named reconciliation in CM Enter and C Enter. You can find it, reconciliation. You will be reconciling both cost sheet and the profit and loss account. Now which items are not recorded? First item category, it is a category there are certain examples that will be seen in 2 or 3 minutes or little time later. Purely financial incomes. The income which are of purely financial nature will not be recorded into cost sheet. What do we mean by, sir, by what do we mean by financial incomes? So I will let you know in little time. Then we will be having financial charges. If we are not considering financial income, then how will be considering financial charges? We will not consider appropriation of profits. Appropriation of profit, let me explain you what is appropriation of profit and what is charge against profit. See, if you have the basic knowledge about accounting that you have learned at the basic level, that profit, the items can be of two types. Like appropriation, we do appropriation of profit and we charge against profit. So basically there are items that are apportioned from the profit. Like apportionment means, or appropriation means, the usage of profit. Means if you have profit, then you will be utilizing it into various sources. But charge against profit means whether you incur whether you earn profit or not, you will be having to pay such expenses. Like salary, is a charge against profit. You will be having to pay it whether you earn a profit or not. Okay, so we will be excluding appropriation of profit. We will be seeing the example in little time. Abnormal items. So what are the abnormal items? We will be seeing in little time. Just focus on the categories now. We will be seeing in little time. Purely financial income we will exclude. Purely financial charges we will exclude. Appropriation of profit we will exclude. Abnormal item we will exclude. Owner's personal income and expenses we will exclude. Sir, everything has been excluded. Then what would be included in cost sheet? Now, please maintain this curiosity to learn, to know things throughout the lesson. It will allow you to learn the things better. Now, so let's move on and see what is purely financial incomes. So purely financial incomes basically means that incomes that are not related directly with the revenue services of the business. Like for an example, retailer, or let's take a different example. X Limited has a business to sell goods. So the main purpose of the business is to sell goods. But if it uplifts a property to rent, it will earn a revenue from there also. It will earn rent. So rent, as we know that in profit and loss account, we have also learned that rent is an indirect income. What do you mean by indirect income or financial income? It means that we are not having, or we are not basically doing the business we are not doing the business to earn income from rent only. We are doing the business to earn revenue from goods by selling goods only. So it is known as indirect income, which is not directly related to the production activities of the business, or basically which is not the main target of the business to have. So rent receivable will be purely financial income. It is only financial income and not the direct income to the business. Or financial income, other name you can also say indirect income. We were considering it into profit and loss account, even though we were only considering it indirect incomes in profit and loss account. But in cost sheet we will not be considering it. Interest on investment we will not be considering, because it is also indirect income. Because the business, until unless the business is for investing, we will not be considering interest on investment. Because if the business is related to investing, then interest on income will be the business income. But if your business is to sell goods, then investing revenue from investing activities will be termed as indirect income, and it will not be included into cost sheet. Brokerage, whether received, it is talking about received. So if you have received any brokerage, until unless your main business is not to earn brokerage, this will be treated as indirect income and it will not be recorded into cost sheet. You will never see a word brokerage in cost sheet because it does not directly relate with the revenue of the business. Now we will be having commission. Similar items are there, brokerage and commission. Now we will see dividend receipt. See, until unless your business is of investment in market, so if you invest in companies, so you will be earning dividend. Until unless your business is of investment in market, you will be earning dividend as main revenue. But if your business is to sell goods, then your main motto or the main motive of business is to sell goods only, and you will be earning directly revenue from such process only, because to sell goods you will be producing them, you will be producing them, you will be deploying your all resources to produce such goods, and you will incurring the cost to produce such goods, then you will be selling, and then you will be earning profits. But if you have invested in certain companies, then you will be earning dividend from such sources, and such dividends will be treated as indirect income to the business, or I must say purely financial income, and that will not be included in the ambit of cost sheet. Now, gains on sale of fixed assets, revaluation profit. So if you have sold a fixed asset, let's say machinery, then you might have seen that in the profit and loss account we will writing gain on sale of machinery. So this will not be recorded into cost sheet, because the main motto of the business is not to sell the fixed assets. The main motto of the business is to sell goods only. If I am not wrong, you must all know about what is goods. Goods are the items or the services in which business deals. See, if I talk about that Ram furnitures, so basically goods here are furnitures. So business names tells it all that in which business deals, or by looking you can see that this company deals in refrigerators on also. See, if a company deals in refrigerator, then the refrigerator will be goods for the company and not a fixed asset. So on selling goods it will be earning revenue and not gain. So there are different terms, profit and gains. So basically gains arise out of the items that we sell, like fixed assets that are not normal for the business. Revaluation profits. So as we know that in revaluation account, if we prepare revaluation account, we can see that there is a profit on revaluation of assets if a partner admits. If a partner admits, then we prepare, in partnership accounting basically we prepare revaluation account. So in revaluation account, the theoretical figures are there. Basically there is neither a cash flow, a cash inflow, or nor outflow, but we can see revaluation profits, and then we will be dividing such revaluation profit to partners capital account, but this will not be recorded in cost sheet. Revaluation profit will not be recorded into cost sheet because it is a purely financial income for the business, or I can say it is an indirect income for the business. Okay, now purely financial charges. So we have seen purely financial incomes. Now we will be seeing purely financial charges. Opposite of that, basically all the indirect expenses we will be excluding. Discount on bonds. So basically if we bonds, if I talk about bonds, so if you provide any discount, if you provide, now you do not receive, if you provide any discount on bonds, then this such discounts will be indirect expense or financial charges that will not be recorded, and same applies to debentures. Okay, now capital losses, cash discount, or I can say any type of discount. If you allow any type of discount, allow, it is for allow, not receiving, allowing. So if you allow any type of discount, then it will not be recorded into cost sheet. Or any type of interest if you pay, it will not be recorded into cost sheet. And if you pay any type of penalties, it will not be recorded into cost sheet. If you pay any type of fines, then it will not be recorded to cost sheet, because what are the some of the expenses that the business has to incur to maintain day-to-day activities? These expenses are wages, salaries. So basically these expenses are important. So what about the fines? So fines arise out of your personal mistakes or the business mistake or the statutory obligations compliance. From these fines arises, or basically we can say discount are of your nature only. So discounted are indirect expenses and we will not be showing into cost sheet. Now I hope you are understanding all the points very clearly. If you are understanding the points, please do not forget to hit the like button and comment if you have any doubt. Now, appropriation of profit. As we have noted, what do we mean by appropriation? The using of profits. That how do we use the profit? So we can use the profit to write off the goodwill. So writing of goodwill will not be recorded into cost sheet. Preliminary expenses. As we know that these are the expenses that are incurred before the incorporation of the company. Means the company has not been incorporated yet, but there are some certain expenses. Suppose that I want to incorporate ABC Limited. So for such incorporation, I have to go to a CMA or CA or CS. So they will charge also professional fees to form such a company. So these kind of expenses are known as the preliminary expenses that incur before the incorporation of the company. To recover or to write off such expenses, we use profits. So these also will not be recorded into cost sheet. We will also not recording underwriting commission. Underwriting commission is a very important topic under company accounts. Shares. See, there are two conditions of shares. If a company issues shares, there can be two possibilities. First of possibility will be under and over. Over application and under applications are received for the shares. So there are some some people known as underwriters. Underwriters are the people who takes responsibility. As you know that if the company does not receive sufficient applications, if the company does not receive sufficient applications, then it will have to refund the money to all shareholders that has paid application into the company. So due to such reason, the company hire underwriters that promises the company that if the shares are not subscribed at the public, then we will be subscribing such shares, or we will be suggesting some people who will be subscribing to a share, and on such subscription they charge commission. So this commission is an also indirect expense, and this will not be included into cost sheet. Appropriation to reserve. So if you transfer any amount, as we know that in partnership accounts also, or you can see in elsewhere as well, that we transfer some amounts as to general reserve or special reserve. So these transfer are not allowed into cost sheet. Now appropriation to funds. So if you transfer either to reserve fund as well, it will not be, or investment fluctuation fund, it will not be considered into cost sheet. Taxes are income and profits. So appropriation are only done when you incur, when you earn the profit. Appropriation is only done when you earn profits. So you pay only tax when the profits are there, as per income tax. So you pay the tax on profits only, you do not pay taxes on loss. So if you know that in PGBP, basically profit and gains from business, this will be dealt into CMA inter and CA inter direct taxation. For understanding purpose, let me tell you that any income arises out of profession or business will be taxed under this head. Only income and not the losses. That is why I have written this taxes part in appropriation, because if no profit is there, then no tax will be there. Okay. Now we have also seen that what are some of the items that will come under the head of appropriation and profit and shall not be included while preparing cost sheet statement. Now abnormal items. So what are the abnormal items? Abnormal items, basically abnormal word means, abnormal means things that are happening to you only. Suppose that in examination, suppose not you, suppose Mr. X forgot, Mr. X forgot to carry calculator, he also forgot to calculate admit card, he also forgot to carry pen. So if you see that this does not happen to everybody, there are only some people, some special people that forget all the three things. So this is abnormal basically. So like this, in the same sense, we can see that loss by fire is not a general loss. It can be done by the mistakes of the employee as well. So it is the abnormal loss. So if we see that the cost of abnormal losses are recorded into profit and loss account but not be recorded into cost sheet. Loss by theft. So if you proper care about the go down about the materials, then there will be no theft. If you have a proper security system, then there will be no theft. So if you lack at any level, then there will be a theft. So it is known as abnormal loss, because not everybody is facing the problem of theft, only you are facing. That means this is abnormal. Mishandling of materials. So you must train the employees first that how to handle the materials. So if they mishandle the material would get more and more in quantity to be used. Suppose that Mr. A has been hired as an employee and he has not been trained yet. Normally it takes 1000 kg to produce a product, but he is taking 1200 kg. Why? Because he is not trained about how to use such material. That is why he is taking 1200 kgs. So this is mishandling of material. It might possible that 200 kgs has been fell on the floor or has been vaporized due to mishandling. So this can be controlled by proper coordination between the staff. Abnormal loss of material, etc. Abnormal gains. So if you are not considering abnormal loss, then why will you consider abnormal gain? Simple as that. So abnormal gain means, suppose like we can take a condition of today's scenario. Due to COVID-19, basically the vendors of vegetable are charging more than usual prices, so they are earning abnormal gains, because usually they do not charge such amounts, but now they are charging higher amounts, so they are getting abnormal gains. So abnormal gains will not be included into cost sheet. However, this is the main revenue for the business, but it is unusual to the business to earn such a high revenue. There might be some special period like COVID-19, there is a lockdown throughout the country and there is a scarcity of the vegetable, as the people say, but actually I cannot see the scarcity of vegetable, at least in Delhi, no. Now, owner personal income and expenses. So we will also exclude owner personal income and expenses. So we will be excluding drawing if he has taken the drawing for goods or for the amount. We will also exclude interest on drawing. If we are excluding the drawing part, then how would we charge the interest on drawing? We will also excluding interest on capital. So if you know about drawing, I assume that everybody knows about drawing who is watching this video. Drawing means the amount of goods that has been withdrawn by the proprietor or the owner, or the amount that has been withdrawn. So the amount of drawing will be excluded, will not be recorded into cost sheet, and interest charged onto such drawing will also not be recorded. Now there is also concept of capital, interest on capital. So as the owner deploys the capital to the business pays him interest. So if the business is not in the cost sheet, if we are not recording the drawing, interest on drawing, then how will be calculating, or then how will be considering the interest on capital? We will also not considering interest on capital. As simple as that. Now we have done all the parts that will not be included into cost sheet. Now the question arises, sir, what will be included into cost sheet then? You have told us many of the things that will not be recorded, that will not be recorded, that will not be recorded, but what will be recorded? Now let me take you that what will be recorded, and this can be learned by the format of cost sheet only. So we will be seeing now the format of cost sheet. Finally, we will be moving on to cost sheet part. Format of cost sheet. So what exactly do we have in cost sheet? So first of all, we will be having direct materials consumed. And how do we calculate direct material consumed? So basically it means that the part of material that has been consumed by you during the year. So how do we calculate such amount? So basically you will be having some opening stock, if any opening stock of material, that is nothing but a closing stock of last year. You will be having such amount. You might have purchased also some of the amount during this current year. Then you will be having some closing stock, opening stock and closing stock. Now if you add opening stock with purchases and minus closing stock, then you will be getting material consumed. So like this we will be calculating, that we will be seeing in detail when we will be doing the questions part. Okay, now direct material consumed. So direct material consumed will come at the first. Then we will be having direct labor, as simple as that, the labor that has been employed to the main production activity, The question arises, sir, if the labor has been deployed in distribution department, will it be chargeable into labor portion? Yes, the first answer, yes, it will be chargeable into cost sheet. It will be chargeable into cost sheet, not but not in the direct labor part, because it is indirect labor, not a direct labor. Now we will be having direct expense like carriage inward, we will be adding it carriage inward. So as we have learned in classification of cost also, that if we add direct material, direct labor and direct expenses, we will be getting prime cost. You must have to remember these formulas, because these formula will be required to solve any sum. So we will be getting prime cost at the very first level. So what is the formula? Uh, let us revise what is the formula first. So direct material consumed plus labor cost plus direct expenses. So this is the formula that gives us prime cost. Now what do we mean by prime cost? Prime cost is nothing but a cost that is at first required to produce any product. I am not saying that this cost is required to product. There are also some other costs that are associated in the production of the product, but this is the cost that will be incurring at the very first level, because at the first, what will you require? Material. Then to process such material, you will be requiring labor, and there will be some expenses as well. So prime cost means the very first cost that you incur in the production activity. So if I make a stage here, so at the very first stage we will be incurring prime cost. Okay, I hope you are getting the point. At the very first stage we are incurring the prime cost. So prime cost is the cost that we will be incurring at the very first level in the production activities or the stages. Now if we add prime in the prime cost factory overhead or works overhead, you can call it with the both names. If we add factory or work overhead, then we will be getting gross factory cost. Now once you get the prime cost, if you add factory overhead into this prime cost, you will be getting factory cost. Now a question arises. Sir, factory cost is greater than fixed or factory overhead. Please fix it into your mind. This can be asked into examination, that is factory cost is greater than factory overhead? The answer is yes. The factory cost is greater than factory overheads, because as you can see that in factory cost you add factory overhead itself. So how can, let's say it is 100 and it is 200, so the gross factory cost will be 300. So as you can see 200 is itself included into 300, then how it can be less? Okay, now we will be having gross factory cost here. It is only a gross factory cost, not net, only gross. Now we will be adding opening stock of WIP. There are three stages of a product life cycle. So basically the product starts with raw material, then we process it, it becomes WIP, then it becomes finished goods. So this is a stage where you cannot say it is a raw material and you can neither say it is a finished goods. For an example, we have chair. Do not go with the drawing part, it's very bad. But if we see basically chair, so from where chair is made? The plastic part, right? So from plastic we make chairs. So suppose that we have made this part only, and we have not made the legs part. We cannot call it chair as well, and we cannot say it is a plastic. So it is a half made chair, we call it WIP. So there will be a stock of WIP that has not been finished yet, and this is not a raw material even. So we will be adding it here, opening stock of WIP, and in the same sense we will be having a closing stock of such WIP as well. Once we add and less these items, this will opening stock will be added and closing stock will be deducted. Please focus, deducted, or you can say a different name, change in inventory of WIP. So you can write this also, change in inventory of WIP. And how do we calculate such change? Opening minus closing. you can write it as well. Okay, so if you suppose this is 350 and 50, so the net factory cost comes as 300. So because 50 has been added, 50 has been deducted. Okay, now you will be getting net factory cost. We will be adding quality control cost. To control the quality, we will be incurring some amount of cost known as quality control cost. We will be adding office and administration expenses, okay, related to production, only. So admin expenses will be there, only the amount which relates to production department or production activities. Okay, R&D expense, research and development expenses, primary packing cost. Basically packing cost, that is primary. Primary means there are two packaging, basically two packaging, a primary and secondary. Primary means the packing that is primary, or basically that is required, very much required. Let's take an example. This is an basically pot of buttermilk. This is a pot of buttermilk. So basically this is a primary packing. The pot is primary packing and it will be delivered not one only. So in a box there will be many of them. So this box will be secondary packing. Okay, so now you have understood the point of primary packing and the secondary packing. So primary packing cost will be added here and the secondary packing cost will be added somewhere else, but it will be added. Okay, now we have done till cost of production. If you add all these expenses, you will be getting cost of production. It is not necessary that in every question you will be getting all the items like direct material, direct labor, direct expense. Then you will be having opening of WIP, closing of WIP, then quality control cost, office and administration cost, R&D expenses. Not like that. In certain cases, you find that there are only little less items. It will be very easy for you to prepare. But please remember till now what we have done. Now we have done that prime cost. We will be getting prime cost first from direct material, direct labor and direct expenses. Then if we add the change in inventory of WIP, we will be getting factory cost, gross factory cost, and if we add factory overhead into such cost, then we will be getting factory cost. See, it can be happen that there is no factory overhead given in the question, then gross factory cost becomes the factory cost itself or net factory cost itself. Okay, so factory cost we will be getting, then first we get the factory cost, then we will be adding these costs, we will be getting cost of production. Okay, now the cost sheet does not end here, we will be having more parts of cost sheet. Now as we have determined cost of production here, then we will be adding opening stock of finished goods. Now if we have considered WIP, then why would not be considered finished goods? See, if you can see that direct material consumed, you have seen that opening stock of raw material and closing stock of closing let me write it again. And closing stock of raw material, opening stock of raw material and closing stock of raw material has been considered while calculating direct material consumed. So as I told you that a product has three stages: raw material, WIP and finished goods. So you consider all the opening and closing stocks of all of three these at different levels. This is included in direct material, this is included into change in inventory or WIP before fixed factory overheads, and this has been included after cost of production. Okay, so if you add opening stock of finished goods in cost of production, you will get cost of goods available for sale. So what is the cost of goods? So you might have learned about COGS, cost of goods sold. In financial accounting we also have this cost of goods sold concept, but it is a new concept that cost of goods available for sale, COGS. It means that what is the cost of goods that are available to sell, that has not been sold yet but are available to sell, means that are produced, basically that are produced. Suppose I have produced 1000 units, so it is not necessary that all the 1000 units will be sold. There will be some closing stock. So this is the cost of this 1000 unit. Some units will be sold and some units will be remained as closing stock. So if you minus the closing stock part of finished goods, then you will be getting cost of goods sold. Okay, now see, you have prepared 1000 units and you know that closing stock is 200. Then how many units you have sold? If you deduct 1000 200, then you will be getting 800 as units sold. 800 as units sold. Same applies here. If you minus cost of goods available for sale and minus closing stock from such amount, then you will be able to get cost of goods sold. Then you will be adding selling and distribution expenses. Selling and distribution expenses, office and admin expenses फिर से आ गया. Again it has came. Now again came, why? Because it is a journal. We have admin expense for production and journal also. So admin expenses are there for every department, like production department we have, for finance department we have. Okay, now journal. So basically in cost sheet you can classify admin expenses in two categories only, like for a production department and for journal. Journal means for everybody apart from production department. So there are certain expenses that are only incurred for production department, and there are expenses, admin kind of expenses, that are incurred at journal level. So accounting expense is of a general nature because it has been done for the business as a whole, so it will be included here, journal. Okay, a relevant part will be included here. Office and administration expenses, we have also seen office and administration expenses before. Here we have seen office and administration expense. Here we have also seen, but for the different purposes. Now packing cost, secondary, we have seen here. Primary, we have seen here primary packing cost. Now we will be seeing secondary packing cost. We will be getting cost of sales, or we can call it total cost. Then we'll be adding profits, and then we'll be getting sales, and finally cost sheet is done. The format of cost sheet is done. Done. Now we'll be doing questions in the next class. I hope that you have understood all the concept for the cost sheet. So if you do, then please leave a like for me, that motivates me a lot. And also, if you press the subscribe button if you are new, plus bell icon, then it will be super motivating for me. You can motivate me by liking also, by doing this also, but this will encourage me more. Okay, now, and this will benefit you also. Now let's wind up this lesson, and we will be meeting into next lesson at 11 a.m. Okay, so day after tomorrow we will be meeting at the same time, at the same place, YouTube, at The Commerce Coach. Bye bye, take care, stay safe and stay home.